Ukrainian NATO naval forces have begun military drills in the Black Sea. The country blocked last year's exercises by banning foreign troops in its territory. These manoeuvres are to tackle piracy, but some Ukrainians are still far from happy they're going ahead. Alexei is in the port of Odessa.
Gunfire amid the high tourist season in Odessa. With a loud bang, Ukrainian special troops retake a vessel seized by pirates. It's the first exercise of the Sea Breeze war games between Ukraine and NATO countries, which have now been held 7 times since 1997.
The mission of Sea Breeze 2010 is to test our cooperation in fighting sea piracy. We've had an alarming number of pirate hijacking cases recently. Now, over 2,500 servicemen from 13 countries will stage a takeover of a pirate ship on the water and an assault on a pirate base on land.
But while soldiers explode grenades inside a military base, just beyond its fence are activists from the Progressive Socialist Party of Ukraine, throwing projectiles of a different kind. Several dozen men gathered at the gate of Odessa's military harbor to say NATO is not welcome here.
We are strongly against joining NATO. Moreover, we don't even want a NATO soldier's foot stepping on our land. Whenever we have our high tourist season, they come here with their ships. We suggest they hold their war games somewhere else, in Romania or Bulgaria, but not here in Odessa.
They kicked off their nationwide protest against the war games last week in Kyiv's Independence Square. They want a repeat of 2007, when several thousand anti-NATO activists filled the streets of the Crimean city of Feodosia. The rally was so large and intense that the country's military command had to move the event to alternative places along Ukraine's Black Sea coast. But this time the protest might seem awkward, given the recent policy turnaround in Kyiv.
After the 2004 Orange Revolution, joining NATO was one of Kyiv's top priorities. But after Viktor Yanukovych came to power in February 2010, he said that Ukraine no longer wants to be part of the alliance. Instead, he wants to rebuild military cooperation with Moscow.
Yet it was Yanukovych who's allowing Sea Breeze 2010 to happen. Analysts say it shows how the new Ukrainian leader is trying to steer the balance between Moscow and Washington.
After Viktor Yanukovych was elected Ukrainian president, he certainly has dramatically changed Ukrainian foreign policy. It is much more oriented towards Moscow, and he has concluded a number of agreements which clearly show that Yanukovych is more pro-Russian than a pro-Western politician. Still, as we see, Yanukovych doesn't want to deteriorate relations with the United States. Indeed, Yanukovych has dropped plans to join NATO, and I believe he is serious in his intentions. But that doesn't mean that Ukraine will never become a NATO member.
Sea Breeze will last until next week, and even though the tides turned away from any Ukrainian ambition to sign up to the alliance, the protesters insist they will continue until the last NATO serviceman leaves Odessa. Alexei, RT, reporting from Odessa, Ukraine.